Hello, hello, and welcome back, or welcome. I am Book Lover Lorna, and it's already time for a September wrap-up. Is that right? We're in October now? We're in October now. September just seemed to absolutely fly by. I did have high hopes for September. Didn't reach my high hopes, but I still did well. So all in all, fairly good month, really. That does mean that I've got quite a few books that have kind of fallen into October. So, I mean, October is going to be a busy month for me, not going to lie. Like, I've got a lot going on in my life, and trying to fit in all these books this month. Don't know how I'm going to do it, but, you know, I'm going to try, because at the end of the day, if you don't try, you won't succeed. You've got zero chance if you don't even try. So, yeah, October, we're just going to read in amongst the very time-consuming life events that I have going on. So, you know, life is more important than reading books. Can't believe I just said that. So, we'll see how we go. I will definitely get my 8 books in October. But anyway, we're talking about my September reads. So, I read 8 books in September, so the amount I need to read each month. I was aiming for 10. I will show you which ones I didn't get to and have kind of fallen into October. But first of all, we'll have a chat about the books that I did read. Also, I've got on my Halloween phone case now, and today or tomorrow, depending on my time, I will be putting up my autumn decorations and my trick-or-treat cushions, because I am so excited to have them up, I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, we're on the Halloween vibes already. I'm not even that excited for Halloween this year, but I'm just like happy it's autumn. But I've got all these Halloween things, so like got to use them. And this is like the cutest case in the world, with like little ghost, little pumpkin. So I put it on yesterday and I have absolutely no regrets. So the first book that I read in September, I'm getting very confused with my months. In my mind, it's also like Christmas, Halloween, just everything rolls into one. Who knows what month it is? But the first book that I read last month was Picture Perfect by Jodi Picoult. So I'm on a little bit of a rereading mission for Jodi Picoult. I'm going to do a vlog series of me rereading her books, and every 3 books we will have a vlog. I've read 2 so far, 2 in the month of September, and this was the first one. Now, this was Jodi's like 3rd published book, and it shows, honestly. I think this was actually one of the first I read when I started reading her books. It wasn't the first, but it was in like the first few. And I could kind of remember what it was about, but not massively. Now, I ended up giving this, I think it was 1 star. Let's just double check before I slate it too much. Yeah, it was 1 star. I was just really disappointed, to be quite honest with you. I think that like there wasn't enough development into the characters that like you wanted to see. Some things felt a bit overdone and repetitive, and there were kind of aspects of relationships within the book that you kind of wanted to see more of, and there just wasn't any development of that. So that was really sad. First Jodi Picoult reread, and I gave it a 1 star. So yeah, moving on. The next book that I read in the month was actually Jodi's book, which is not out yet, which is Wish You Were Here. Now, this is an interesting one. I went into this not knowing what it was about, because it's a Jodi Picoult book. Obviously, I'm going to read it. I don't need to know what it's about. And it surprised me. So I started it, and immediately I was like, oh no, but in swearing words. Because it's set during COVID. I've read one book before that was set in like lockdown, and I hated it because it was too close to home. It was not enjoyable. So I started Jodi's book, and I was like, oh my god, this is not going to be good. It's set in COVID. I do not want to read a book set in COVID. Like, maybe years down the line, kids who don't remember it, maybe it'll be good for them. You know, like when they're adults, to read COVID-related books because they weren't in it. I don't want to read it. But I was very surprised. I enjoyed it a lot more than I realised. It wasn't... I think because it's set in a different country and it's set in a different kind of scenario, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. So what did I write on my review? Let's have a look. We're still on the 1 star Picture Perfect one. This review contains spoilers. Look at me being good for all the other bookworms so they don't read it if they don't want to. So I thought the book was incredibly well written. I think she actually did COVID quite well, but there is a twist in it. I'm not going to tell you where, because if you read it, you'll kind of search for it. And it's very hard to talk about it without spoiling the book, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. My phone is going off. And there's this twist. The twist is something that in a book, if that style of twist happens, I am like, no, absolutely not. Don't like that. I feel like we've just wasted a big portion of the book, and that is why I've given it 4 stars, because I thought it was so well written. She did it really well, and still the ending and everything was better, but it just didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. I thought it was going to turn into a love story. It was a little bit different. When you read it, you'll see what I mean, but the twist just didn't sit happily with me. So for that reason, I gave it 4 stars. I still think it's a brilliant book, and I read it as a buddy read with some other bookworms, and even though they thought the twist was a bit like, oh, that's, you know, not the best twist in the world, they still gave it 5 stars. But I'm giving it 4 because I didn't like the twist. But, you know, you're still going to enjoy it. Still going to enjoy it. But just, you know, tell me what you think about that twist, because I am not in support of it. Next, in September, I read Up All Night, which is an anthology edited by Laura Silverman. There is a lot of authors in here, and I gave it 4 stars. I'll be honest with you, I've looked at my Goodreads. I haven't written a review because I've obviously forgot to, and now I can't really remember what my thoughts were on it. I've given it 4 stars. I know this was definitely more successful than the last anthology I read, which was Blackout. Definitely enjoyed it more. I think it was just quite simple and easy reading. Basically, it's a bunch of short story collections which are set between sunset and sunrise, and it's YA. There's a little bit of kind of approaching, like, less talked about topics. There's a lot of, like, diversity and approaching subjects which are not often discussed, so that was quite good. I quite enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars. Can't remember anything more than that, so can't have loved it that much, but it was enjoyable. Next, I read another ARC, which was a Holly Martin book, which is out. I think it's out now or coming out very soon. I think you might be able to get it now on Kindle. Yeah, I think it is out now. So that is Mistletoe at Moonstone Lake by Jewel Island, which is number 5 in the series. This series just keeps on going and I absolutely love it. So this is obviously a Christmas book, and I was like, oh, I can't read a Christmas book in September, but I did because it's Holly Martin, and as soon as I get my hands on it, I'm like, yes, gotta read this. So I thought this was really good. Obviously, Holly Martin is the queen of romance and the queen of a Christmas book, a Christmas romance. This was proper Christmassy, loads of laughs in it. I thought the characters were really quite nice. Not nice, sorry, that was the worst word I could have used. The characters were relatable, and they gave you a nice warm fuzzies in your heart. That sounds better. I think it's the kind of book that you could easily read within a day, and it's probably going to put you in the mood to put your Christmas tree up. That's like the best description I can give you. It's a nice bit of romance, nice bit of Christmas, and a little bit of drama sprinkled in there as well, to kind of keep you hooked. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 stars. Next, I read The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley, and I've still got my little separators of what dates I need to read certain pages by. Now, I did this as a buddy read. It was supposed to be like over a month, but once I kind of get into a book, I can't make it last that long unless I'm not kind of into it at all. So I'm just going to take out my little tabs. So I did do like the 2 weeks following the buddy read, and then after that I just finished it because I was like, I might as well. This one is one that I've been kind of waiting to pick up for ages. I've got it in a charity shop, and it'd been on my list to purchase for a while. And I've seen loads of other people read it and really, really enjoy it. Like, it was such a popular book. Was it this year or last year? I can't remember. But I found it really good. No pun intended. I thought the storyline was very authentic. Well, No pun intended though. The storyline was very authentic and something that I hadn't really come across before. There are a lot of characters in this book, but it's written actually quite well in that I didn't get confused over who was who, not even one time, which is quite an impressive feat. When you've got books from a lot of different kind of perspectives or such, it can get really confusing as to who's who, particularly if you're not paying attention, which I'm quite often not paying attention, as we can tell by my memory of trying to remember what happened in books. So I actually thought that was quite impressive, that I didn't get at all confused by anyone. I thought that the first half of the book was definitely stronger than the second half, which is a little bit, you know, kind of disappointing, but I still gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a very enjoyable read, but it didn't quite like knock my socks off like it seemed to everyone else's. So the next book that I read in September was part of the Women Comedy in Print Prize Award from the shortlist, and it was Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. I just had a little brain freeze there. So this one I went into not knowing an awful lot about, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I think it's kind of engineered towards women in their 30s who are kind of doing the single date life. I've done the single dating life and therefore can relate to a lot of things in this book. It does call out a lot of society's BS, which I think is quite good, and it does it in a very good way that's kind of like, like how can that be right, rather than kind of like tearing things apart, which I think is quite good. That can be quite a challenge to do, so that impressed me very much, and I think there's kind of something for everyone in this book. Not massively the most like filled with laughter. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It wasn't the funniest book in the world, considering it's part of like a shortlist for a comedy prize, but it was very relatable as a young woman, so I gave it 5 stars. Next, I read Domestic Bliss and Other Disasters by Jane Irons, which is also on the shortlist for the Women Comedy in Print Prize Award. Now, this one is definitely not, I'm not the target audience. I am not the target audience. It's definitely kind of a middle-aged woman with, you know, sometimes a bit of an annoying husband, potentially. Kids, teenage or adult kids, who are kind of going through their own adulthood or life experiences. And it's just very, very tongue-in-cheek. And there is a lot of laughter in it. I think this one rightfully deserves its place on the comedy kind of women prize, because it is just that. It's perfectly written, very like female stance based, obviously written by a woman, but it was very funny. There are the kind of, that tongue-in-cheek thing can be too much if it's throughout a whole book, but I think that it was done very, very well. And so I gave that one 5 stars as well. So these shortlist nominees are doing well. The last book that I read in September was one that I thought that I was going to give 5 stars to. If you've seen my 5-star predictions video, this is in it, and I'm sad because I gave it 2 stars. It is We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry. Now, I've been trying to read this book for ages, thinking I'm going to really enjoy it, and I didn't. It's very, very, very detailed, to the point where I just ended up skimming half of the book, because if you like a very detailed book and you like a lot of prose, essentially, you'll probably quite enjoy this. It's based on kind of hockey, which is school life. It feels like it's older than that, but I think they are in school, essentially, high school. So this was just very detailed. I ended up skimming a lot of it. I'm quite disappointed, really. I thought this was going to be amazing, and I feel like for some people who like a detailed read, it probably was really amazing, but because I started skimming it because it was over-described, I probably missed out on chunks of the story, or that's what I felt like when I was reading it anyway. I think the idea for this book was very strong, but the execution simply just didn't suit my reading style, hence the 2 stars. So that's kind of sad, but we move on. So those are the books that I read in September. Now, 2 that were on my list to get to and I didn't get to were The Summer of Chasing Dreams by Holly Martin, so that's gonna have to be an October one, and it can't go any later than October because it's a summer book and I can't be reading summer in winter. And we've got The Yearbook by Holly Bourne. I'm actually currently reading this one in October, so I'm going through it quite quite quickly for the amount of time I've spent reading it. I haven't had a lot of reading time over the past few days, but I'm already on page 112. So this one I will definitely read next month, well, in October, which is this month. This one, I'm gonna try. Those were on my definite TBR for September. Definite. And then I also have these two books which I'd got out of the library ready because I thought that they were going to be on the shortlist for the Women Comedy Imprint Prize Award, and they weren't on the shortlist, they were only on the long list. And I'm not necessarily reading the long list ones, but I kind of read what they were about and I was like, I don't want to send them back to the library just yet. Like, if I get a chance to read them, I'd really like to. So potentially could pick these up in October. We have Insatiable by Daisy Buchanan, and then Exciting Times by Naos Dolan. I thought that her name was Louise. I'm so sorry. Naos Dolan. I think so. Sorry if I butchered your name. So sorry. But yeah, hopefully, potentially I'm going to keep them until I need to take them back for my library due date. And if I manage to pick them up, it'll be fantastic. If not, it's not the end of the world. I can always get them out another time. But hopefully I can read them while I've got them out now, so it's not like a wasted library use kind of thing. So yeah, these ones I was definitely supposed to read. These ones I kind of wanted to read. So 4 books I kind of missed out on last month, but that would have been 12 books in a month, which would have been a lot. But I mean, I'm kind of, with all the books I've got to read this month, I'm kind of aiming quite high again, aren't I? So, oh, so many books to read in so little time. This is such an issue. I just want to read books all the time, honestly. If that could be my job, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, that's all of my reading for September. Hopefully October will be just as strong a month, if not even stronger. Cross everything for me, please. Do let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Thank you very much for watching. Happy reading, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!